Another article, another piece of news talking about Battlefield 2042. Y'all already know where I stand with this game. How dissatisfied I am with the game to the point I no longer want to play that game, regardless if they have new content coming out. Should have been there since day one. You delayed the season one of the content for your game, but you didn't want to delay your actual main game. Ironic. But when I saw this on Twitter, and I was just like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, EA is blaming Halo Infinite for Battlefield 2042's woes or problems of the game, why people are no longer wanting to play Battlefield 2042. It's because of Halo Infinite. Now, just the headline alone, I'm just like, y'all don't want to accept responsibility for the fact that you put out a garbage product. Now, here's the thing, and this is just to be fair. Battlefield 2042 did run a lot better than Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 1 at launch. It did run a lot better than its predecessors. That I'm going to give them that. Like, the game actually run nice and smooth at launch. All the bugs and glitches, and that's my phone, all the bugs and glitches that the game had when we all played the open beta, it's not there, wasn't there day one with the game. Like, you can actually play a full, solid game. Didn't have no problems with Portal, things like that. So the game ran smooth day one, had no issues. I'm playing on the PlayStation 5. So that being said, I'm going to give them that. The game actually ran good when it came out. However, going long term, the game, this ain't it. Like, this feels like an empty Battlefield game. Like, it's missing core features that previous Battlefield games had. And reading this article, like, before we even read the article, let's read the quote retweets. This is coming from AES Gaming. No, EA. Battlefield 2042 failed because there was no single player content. Players prefer to play older remastered maps than new maps of the actual multiplayer component. There were game-breaking bugs and glitches everywhere. Own up to your mistakes. Robbie, the word they should have applied was accountability. Yeah, take accountability for the fact that y'all dropped the ball with this game. Talk about how out of touch these cunts are. This is in another language. Oh, F off. They didn't even have a scoreboard in the game. They had to add it to their roadmap after people complained. No effing scoreboard. Yeah, there's no scoreboard in the game. Matt, laughing my ass off. Instead of recognizing your own faults, just blame everyone else. CyberThief89. LOL. EA blames Halo Infinite. You never listened to the community and made a total different game to what you were portraying. Halo being blamed for their failure is perfect. That means Halo is back to being king. Let's go ahead and read the article. Like, there's so many quote retweets and comments that you could just read on Twitter just from that post alone. My God, it is just golden. But reading the article from Eurogamer, EA blames Halo Infinite for Battlefield 2042's woes. EA believe Halo Infinite contributed to dismal sales of Battlefield 2042. In a company town hall meeting with employees, EA acknowledged the disappointing launch of Battlefield 2042 and discussed plans to improve the game and franchise going forward. Laura Meal, EA Chief Studio Officer, said the company failed to meet expectations of our players. You see this? Failed to meet the expectations of our players. Yeah, you dropped the ball. Completely dropped the ball, because guess what we were saying for the most part? We do not want these specialists in the game. Get rid of them. I didn't want to get rid of them. And people come to find out, this was just another marketing tactic to try to get gamers into buying and purchasing skins of these specialists, because you saw Call of Duty doing it right with their operators, so you wanted to emulate that. However, what you should have realized and understood that when it comes to Call of Duty and Battlefield, it's best to always do things differently than your competition. That is the reason why Battlefield took off the way it did back in the past with Battlefield Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, and Battlefield 4, because it was completely different and unique from Call of Duty. You had a completely different experience for a first-person shooter. So why try to emulate or copy what they're doing when what you already have is already good? Like, this is what your players want. And I've even said it in my previous video that Battlefield 2042 is lacking so much content that we literally paid for, especially myself, $70 for a full game. Of course, no single player, and of course, not a lot of weapons, vehicles, and whatever. Like, you literally got a bare bones Battlefield game. Like, here you go. Here's a big ass map. Here's some weapons. Here's some, which is like 22 when Battlefield 4 had 69 up front at launch. And here's a couple of vehicles. No naval combat whatsoever, but all out warfare. Yeah. But anyways, I'm not trying to bring up my last video to this video, but we're here to talk about this article. Identifying the reasons for the game's failure, Meal attributed part of the blame on the huge ambitions for the project, combined with the global pandemic, which created unexpected variables in the development process. Now that I can understand. The pandemic did screw up a lot of things, especially when it comes to games being released and games working day one, and of course, having the content, be made and be ready and available at a decent time. That I can understand. But don't be trying to blame another first-person shooter for the reason why your game isn't doing well. No. Y'all screwed up. Y'all dropped the ball. Meal also said that while EA received a lot of feedback concerning bugs and unpolished areas of the experience, there was also a substantial amount of positive feedback from players. Yeah, there were some good things that we did like about Battlefield 2042 that were good. I'm not gonna lie about, especially when I played the beta and then of course the full game when it came out. There was some good, but as you play it longer and longer, you come to realize that it's not there. This doesn't feel like a Battlefield game. However, Battlefield was then affected by the launch of Halo Infinite, Meal said, as unfavorable comparisons were made between Xbox shooter and Battlefield 2042, with Halo perceived as a much more polished title. Yeah, Halo Infinite was much more polished. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing with Battlefield 2042 and Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite is only available on 3 platforms: PC, Xbox One, and X Series. Only those 3. Battlefield 2042 is available on those 3, PS4, and PS5. So don't blame Halo Infinite for the reason why your game sucks. That's on you. Y'all dropped the ball completely. I'm just saying. Meal acknowledged the company historically had bug issues with DICE games at launch, but said the bug count for Battlefield 2042 fell into the range EA expected when compared to other launches. The company therefore believed the issues would be manageable. As I said before, there weren't a lot of bugs and issues that to me were game breaking because I'm playing on the PlayStation 5, so I didn't notice them at all. But yeah, it just didn't feel like a Battlefield game. Like, it was missing core features that Battlefield games would normally have. However, Meal believed player expectations had changed with respect to live service games, and so the previous model of shipping it and patching it later no longer flies. Yeah. We expect our games to be up and running at launch because I hate to say it, but we paid for a full working product. We don't want to pay for a broken game. A lot of us paid for a lot of broken games. Battlefield 4 was one of them. Did the game end up getting a lot better as time passed? Yeah, I would say about what was that expansion pack? Naval Strike. That's when the game started to be very, very functional. But yeah, yeah, people remember, gamers remember. Like, we want our game to work right out the gate with no problems, no issues. If there are gonna be bugs, they're very, very minor and they're not game breaking. Dissatisfaction among players had led to the circulation of an online petition demanding refunds, which has now reached over 200,000 signatures. And best believe my ass signed it, because I do want my refund from this game. That is $70 that I am not going to get back. But at the same time, I should learn my lesson that when it comes to shooters, it's going to be a hit or miss, which is why I now play more RPGs, fighters, JRPGs, you name it. Because at least those games, for the most part, they come out working right out the gate, especially single player games. But yeah, EA should be ashamed of themselves, have some accountability for the reason why your game is in the gutter. Have some accountability. You didn't want to delay the release of the game. I mean, you did the first time because it was supposed to come out in October. You delayed it to November. Fine. But even then, you should have delayed it till at least March. So that way, when your Season 1 DLC content comes out, you can release it in early summer. Had they delayed the game till March and actually listened to the community and the things that they did not want in the Battlefield game that they're going to purchase and buy, you wouldn't be having these issues. You wouldn't be having this problem, but you ain't want to listen. So you get what you deserve. At least with Halo Infinite, at least 343 Industries, they listened to their community and gave them what they wanted. So that looks bad on y'all. Shame on y'all for blaming Halo Infinite for being a much better polished game than your game that you put out, that you didn't take the time to be like, you know what, let's delay this game to next year. But of course, you gotta make that money. Gotta make that money, EA. Gotta sell those skins, which players are already not buying at all. So they're not buying Battlefield skins. It's a waste. Anyway, guys, y'all let me know in the comment section below what are your thoughts on this, and yeah, stay classy.